Hey, Lawrence here. Welcome to Business Beats. Another quick take episode from me today. Today we're talking about passion, right? I hear these statements all the time. Do something you're passionate about. Well, I'm going to call that out because I think it's bullshit, and we're going to talk about that today. So here it goes, right? The whole internet is flooded about do something you're passionate about. Like, seriously. I see it all the time. I see these ads on Instagram. I see it on TikTok, shorts and reels. It's everywhere. Do something you're passionate about. Well, look, I'm gonna call bullshit on that for a couple of simple reasons, right? Practical, commercial, and economic reasons, right? So let me run through what that looks like. So the first thing is resistance creates friction. All right, and you go, well, what does that mean, Lawrence? Good question. Here's the thing, friction creates strength. Doing something you're passionate about means that you eliminate friction from the process, from the business, from the company, or the project, or whatever you're trying to achieve, right? It simply does. Because you wake up every morning and you're energized and you want to do it, and this is great, you know what I mean? So the problem with that is that it breeds complacency. Let me unpack that a little bit for you. So if I was, I'm an ex-musician, if I was waking up every morning and writing music, right? Playing music, hanging out with my mates, jamming, all that sort of stuff. That's cool, right? Man, I love that. But will that support my externals, right? Like, will that support my children? Will that pay the mortgage? If something goes wrong medically and I come up with this, some expenses that were unforeseen and not in the budget, doing something I'm passionate about could be a problem for me. Now, I think it's okay to do something you're passionate about, but here's my take. I think that comes later. I really think you need to work hard before you even get to that point, right? So you need to work hard before you get the opportunity and the luxury of doing something you're passionate about. Like, think about that. Like, you can't just wake up one day and say, I hate my job. I am very passionate about baking pies, so I'm just gonna go and bake pies. Like, what does that even mean? It requires thought, planning, strategy. You got to unpack the economics. How long is it going to take? How are you going to monetize to support your lifestyle, your family? Like, how is that going to work? Now, the ad may say on Instagram, so I'm going to wind back to where I see this a lot, right? And it's like from $0 to $500,000 in 6 months, doing something you're passionate about. Click here, right? Like, there's a lot of that stuff. It's got a picture of a young guy or girl standing in front of an orange Lamborghini, right? All of that is bullshit. None of that is real. They probably don't even own that Lamborghini. And even if they do, they didn't do it in 6 months, right? And they probably didn't do it with something that they're passionate about. Like, think about it. Passion, you really need to unpack that word. Do something you're passionate about. What does that look like? And what does that mean to you personally? I think it's really hard to do something you're passionate about. And even to understand what that means for yourself as an individual, right? As a human walking around on this planet. Where does your passion lie? And is it more than one? Is it plural? Is it passions? Like, do you have multiple passions? And then how do you select the one that you think you could create a life upon, right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff to consider there. Do something you're passionate about. It's that people say it as a frivolous comment in a conversation, certainly on a social media post, right? And then it gets people thinking. And they go home and speak to their husband or their wife, and they go, you know what, I'm really not happy with my job. I'm gonna go do something I'm passionate about. Big mistake. I don't know the numbers, so I'm paraphrasing here, but look, I have this rule of 3%, right? So, and I've taken that rule from real live data that's been compiled over a period of time in a commercial context, like, companies like Deloitte's and KPMG, they release all these white papers and all this research, right? When I look at those numbers, they normally run on this algorithm of 3 to 5%. Success and fail rate, they're two different things. That lower percentile is about success. So if you want to do something you're passionate about and you're already up against it, where 3% of people who start businesses in the first 5 years succeed, how do you think you're going to turn something that you're passionate about into a higher percentage than that? Because you get up every day and you're more motivated? Motivation is not a strategy. And by the way, it doesn't last very long. I've spoken about that before. So you really need to just think about it. Like, just stay away from those bullshitty ads that are saying do something you're passionate about. Your friends and family members, even your partner, your wife, your husband. Oh, you know what? I really support you. I think you should just do something that you're passionate about. And what does that really mean? Do something that you're happy with? Maybe you're miserable and it's not about anything but you. That means you have to change yourself. Like, does that make sense? Like, think about that. Do something you're passionate about. Oh my God, such bullshit. So get intelligent. Like, that would be my take, right? Get intelligent about that phrase. And if you want to do it no harm, no foul, you should do that. But expect to fail, and you only have a 3% chance of success. That means 97% chance of failure. In an average context where you know something about something, right? Now, the statement, do something that you're passionate about. Now, do you know anything about that market? Do you know how to do it? Or do you think that you're passionate about that? Because I have a take on passion. Here's the thing. I think passion comes from hard work. I think passion comes from doing things that you don't want to do initially, right? And I think passion is born from success. Because I don't know too many people who leave high school and pick the degree that they wanted to do because they're passionate about it. Come on now. Come on now. It doesn't happen like that. I don't think I've ever seen anyone say to me, you know, I say to them, what do you do? Oh, I'm a lawyer. I'm so passionate about it. I wanted to do that my whole life. You know, I've never heard it. You know, what do you do? Oh, I'm an electrician. I'm so passionate about it. I wanted to do it my whole life. Like, it's bullshit. Like, you have to just go and do something. You have to learn what you like. You have to learn what you don't like. And then you've got to run the math across that, right? So you've got to expose yourself to lots of different things to be able to create intelligence based on experience to make the decision, and I want to do this and I'm passionate about it. Because unless you've done it before, you're lying to yourself and it'll fail 100%. You know, I just want people to be careful, right? Because I think people are chasing that unicorn right now, and man, I tell you, people are getting hit pretty hard financially with it, right? You know, they're saving up, you know, all their life savings, and they go and do X. Pam sets up her pie shop, and she just fails. Man. She fails because she didn't know what she was doing, because she listened to all the people that were through her social media feed as she's scrolling, and her husband who just wants her to be happy because he thinks that if she's happy, he'll be happy, and then the family will be happy. But that's not how the economics of life works, right? If you can achieve it, that's great, but here's how it's normally achieved. And let me run through what I see, you know, in my experience, 243 years on this planet. That was a joke, by the way. But, you know, I've got some experience on this planet and spoken with lots of entrepreneurs and business owners and CEOs and founders and all these sorts of people. And we talk about this stuff. And here's how it works. There's a conversation that I have quite frequently about the long path, right? It's an old Stoic philosophy, you know, which I really buy into, because I think when you take the long path, the appreciation and the respect of what you succeed in or what you earn is greater than if you take the short path, right? So what that means is taking the long path is the harder journey. The harder journey creates more intelligence and more exposure and more experience, and it creates obstacles for you that you'll need to overcome to get to where you need to get to. Now here's the thing, this is the beautiful thing about this philosophy, is that when you get there, that creates the passion. Think about it. Adversity creates passion. You are not born with passion. Look, some people are not going to agree with that. You could think about artists, musicians, actors, painters, right? Really high-level creative people. Look, again, that's in the 3%. That's not your average Joe, right? Who is born into an average middle-class family, is not going to be the next Beethoven, right? Or Eddie Van Halen, or whatever. You know, they're just not going to do that. I'm talking about everybody else, right? I'm outside of that 3% right now. So you've got to do things that you don't want to do, because you're going to come up against friction and obstacles, and that's going to build you and create who you are. And when you can punch through that and create success off the back of it, then you'll create some passion around it, right? So if you're not born with the gift of knowing what you want to do for the rest of your life, whether you're poor or wealthy or a mix of both or everything in between, right? Where that actually doesn't matter to you. And you just know that. And you do it for your whole life and you live happy and content, make power to you. I think that's pretty incredible. But most people don't know that. And they're not born with that. You know, they have no skill set. They have to learn their skill sets. No one that I know who's born is born with direct passion. I think, it's either created through social environments, influence from parents and family members and friends and social environments, right? But my take is success creates passion. The long pathway, if you can get there through to success, passion is stronger. Because, you're passionate about something that you're succeeding in and that you're good at, right? Like, it's all the stuff around that is the passion. It's not that, in my heart, I want to do this. Well, that's great. Really, for me, it was all about, there were lots of things I like, and I'm a creative as well. And I tried to be successful in that and I failed, right? So I was in that 97%. And I failed big time. I tried really, really hard for many, many years. And that passion just waned for me. I fell out of love with it, right? I think I've got a bit of that back now, but so don't be confused about something that you just want to do that you love and passion, right? They can be slightly different, so you need to calibrate those just a little bit and unpack it. But I think it's a really important message. I think there's lots of people on social media talking bullshit, pulling people in through advertising to get clicks and the right CPL and ROAS and all that other bullshit, right? That are just using these taglines, create a business and do something you're passionate about and earn $1 million. Well, come on now. I don't know whether that's true. Well, I know it's not true. I'm saying that completely. So you're not born with passion, all right? And do you need to wrap economics around passion? Because if you're gonna commit all of your time to it, who's gonna pay the bills, all right? And I know it's very practical and it's a bit one-dimensional, but it's important because, as I've said previously, man, we live on an economic planet. It requires economics to support your family and live and have a healthy life and travel to the places on the world that you should travel to and spend time with your children that you should spend, right? And live in a beautiful house that you can afford to pay the mortgage on. So get real about it, you know what I mean? My advice would be focus on a couple of key things. Most people are not born with passion. Right? And if that's you need to wrap some context around that. Install patience, because it takes time, right? My advice is do things that you don't want to do. And through that hardship, you'll create passion. It'll come. The other byproduct to that is passion is born from success, and don't underestimate that or forget that. You don't have to be passionate about something. It takes time to figure that out. So don't put all the weight on your shoulders and carry that around with you all the time. I've heard people say, look, I just don't know what I'm passionate about. I'm not passionate about anything. Look, that's okay. Look, don't let that bother you. You should pivot and change the terminology. Do something that you like, all right? Why not call it that? I love what I do and I'm quite thankful about it every day, right? That I do something that I'm pretty passionate about, and I'm pretty passionate about business. I love building things, collaborating with people, creating partnerships and creating wealth for people, right? Including myself. Let's not shy away from the money. Like that's why I do it. If I wasn't getting paid well, I'd be doing something else, right? And so just be real about what passion is and unpack that for yourself. That's all I've got. Be careful about what people say about passion is the rule for me. Unpack it, be practical with it, look at the economics of it, and how can you weave it into your life to support your home economics, right? Your family, your lifestyle, and all that sort of stuff. I think that's really important. Anyway, look, I hope that helped. I hope you got something out of that and there's something that you can take away. That's what this is all about. This is a non-for-profit venture, so if you want to have us out, appreciate it if you subscribe and like a whole bunch of stuff and share it as well. That would really be appreciated. Thanks for joining today and look forward to speaking to you next time. Cheers. Let's turn these cameras off. Or just let them cut out.